Hey, Jason Rice here. Another lot party. Quick tip. I think this is saying I'm live. I am going to be live on Facebook. This is going to be going up on YouTube. This will be going up on SoundCloud as a podcast. So if you're on Facebook Live right now, do any comments, do any likes. If you are listening to it on YouTube or SoundCloud, please subscribe. You'll get any kind of notifications that we went live. Again, this is another lot party tip having to do with used cars. And, I just got a call from a dealer, previous client coming back on, I'm hoping. And, but he was asking me about, what should he be doing with inventory? He got a call from a rental car company and talking about supply and stuff. I won't give too much of the details. But basically, what's going on, Tony? Thanks for saying hi on Facebook here. So basically, he's wondering, because typically a lot of dealers stock up, especially going into, hey, Jason, what's your best advice for cars that age in January, February? Do you cut prices, panic, or stay steady? Alex, this is going to answer it. Your question, he did that on Facebook Live. This is going to answer it pretty much for you. So a lot of dealerships, we know about mid-February, March, April is that tax season. It's a big spike in activity. Dealers actually start stocking up in October, November, December. I know of dealers that buy hundreds of cars in those months, anticipation of a big February, March, and buying them cheaper. I don't agree with that. What's up, Gene? I don't agree with that so much. The fact that when you calculate holding costs, you're really not making. Anyways, a lot of dealers stock up for these selling months that happen in January or in February and March. And a little bit of April, depending on where you're at locale. Again, up north, it takes a little bit longer for it to cool off. So you might see more of a March, April set, where south and some lower Midwest might see a good uptick starting February and March, and it dies off by April. Either way, you got the next 90 days probably of a traditional strong market. And I've watched this for years. I'm talking 15 years here. And it's holds steady. If you've been in business long enough, I've been doing this 20 something years. You just know that's coming. But this last year and this year's not going to be a traditional year. So I've always told dealers, carry what you sell what you carry. Don't worry about missing a bubble in the market, because when that bubble pops, you don't want to be caught holding the bag. All of a sudden, everybody goes and buys and stocks up because no cars are going to be available, and I better buy now and stock up and sit on these cars and own them. And then the bubble bursts, and now all of a sudden you're stuck holding 100 cars that you paid over the market for, and they're appreciating day after day. So I'd rather miss the bubble then screw up my year and my month. But I would tell you too, so we got to talking to him, and I said, man, if I've always taught dealers, stay lean and clean, sell what you carry what you sell. Things are picking up, start stocking more. Things are starting to slow down, stop stocking less. I want you to carry 100, sell 100, and just watch your 2-week sales cycles and increase and decrease. But Alex, to your point again, if you're going to roll the dice, I told him, I said, if you want to try to make it happen, if you want to see if you can take advantage of the market, this would be the time to do it, because traditionally you have that 90-day window to get off. We got maybe some stimulus money coming. I do think the current administration might start letting loose of the reins on this whole lockdown thing to try to get the economy back, just to make it start looking better. That being said, however you feel politically, I do think there's already been headlines that some of these tougher towns have starting to loosen the rein. Washington, D.C. governor just started letting people do indoor dining up to 25% all of a sudden, just within a day of a new administration, for no scientific reason. But anyways, I think they are going to probably loosen the reins. I think they're going to try to get the economy back somehow by doing that. And if you throw in the stimulus cut and you throw in the additional trending data over the years, if you're going to try to take advantage of the market, now would be the time. The other thing is with used cars, what's the supply chain, right? twofold when I talk about supply chain. One of used, like how many are coming in off leases, how many are coming in off of rental companies, which that isn't in existent. What's up, Prad? Thanks for tagging Paul. But uh, rental cars aren't in existence because over the COVID months, the manufacturers shut off selling cars to the rental car companies because they need to worry about filling their dealers' lots before they sell them out to these rental car companies. These rental car companies are stuck holding on to these cars longer with more miles, right? And so they're also running into supply problems to keep their demand up, and some of those sell the cars themselves, and so if they don't have any cars to sell either, so not only typically they would sell their own but throw a batch out to the dealers to sell. Well, they don't have any to sell themselves, so they're not giving any to the dealers, right? So you got that going on, supply chain. You got customers who got to keep on their leases a little bit longer through the COVID thing. Those haven't hit the market yet, and they may. But there's parts holds and parts holds on both ends, right? New car manufacturing parts holds. Subarus are gonna forgot the parts that they're missing, but they're gonna be building thousands of less cars. I know Ford F-150s. It's more of a model body change thing, but part supplies on new cars, it's not so much if Ford keeps the factory going 24/7 and keeping cars coming through and building them. It's a matter if they can get the supply chain of parts to keep coming in. If a parts factory got shut down during COVID, I personally, the truck I'm trying to sell myself, while it was sitting, while I'm waiting for it to sell, got the catalytic converter stolen out of it. It's been at the dealership for 2 weeks now, and that part, there's 2 sensors I'm waiting for. Those parts aren't coming into February 8th. No, the parts hold's done on February 8th. Then they got to ship it, get it to the dealer. Then it's got to get fixed. I'm mid-February before that truck's out, and catalytic converters are getting stolen everywhere. So there's parts holds on that. So used car supply chains to be able to, even if you could buy cars, but there's parts holds, you're going to have cars sitting for 30 days, 40 days waiting for parts before you can even sell it. So you got that to mix up. So supply can be tight. If you're going to roll the dice and want to bulk up and try to take advantage of a market, I think if you're going to do it now. You got about 90 days of traditional market uptick. If that happens, you got maybe the economy opening up a little bit. You got stimulus check maybe coming. I don't think the stimulus money will be as impactful as the last go around because one, the first go around, people that didn't have cars bought cars, meaning they usually Ubered or ride shared and stuff like that. Now with COVID, they can't do that anymore. So that happened. Those buyers are already bought, I would assume. Second reason, I think we won't get as big a push. A lot of people went through the holidays either laid off or not going into work as often and not maybe making sales volumes that they used to because of COVID and stuff. So I think a lot of people might need that money just to kind of get caught back up on some bills that they've been behind due to the holidays and things like that. But it'll definitely spur some business off of it. Somebody's got an extra $1,200 or $2,000 in their pocket, they might go out and spend it. Or $1,400 because they already did 6. They're going to do another 14. It'll be 2 total. Anyways, I think there'll be a little bit of a spurt there, not as big as before. We got the traditional February, March selling season. If that exists, will be there. If they loosen the reins to let the economy open up a little bit more, we might just see it. Plus, new car supplies probably aren't going to be there, and or a bad economy. If people aren't secure about their job, they're not going to go out and buy a brand new car. They might buy a used one instead. Or I want that 2021 truck, but it ain't in yet, so I guess I'll settle for a used certified 2020. So people are going to both those are the things that are going to be up in there. New car supply chain, what's hitting the auction between lease returns and rental cars, and parts holds that's going to strangle both new and used turnarounds. So it's going to be a tricky next 90 days and 6 months. So to play it safe, just carry what you carry, sell what you sell, that kind of stuff. I mean, carry what you sell what you carry scenario. and just play it safe. If you want to maybe add another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 units to your inventory and stock up in case cars aren't available in March, if you're going to do it now, and hopes that everything else falls in place, like I just said, that could. I think you're okay either way. People are going to buy cars, so might as well have them. It's just when you start, I look at money management, when you start doing holding costs, and I'm buying cars and I'm sitting on them for 90 days, and I'm going to do the math with my little calculator here because my mind don't work right. But even if it just costs you $30 a day in holding costs, that's your expenses, everything to keep a car on your lot, $30 a day, and you hold on to that car for 90 days because, March, April, that's $2,700. So even if you get to buy it $1,000 cheaper than you get to in March or April when people are trying to buy them, I mean, it's still costing you $2,700 to sit on it till it sells in April. So keep that. That's the way I think about it. That's why I like this staying lean and clean. Even if you get to go bulk up and go, man, I bought these 3 months ago for $1,500 less than they're going now. Well, great, but you've been sitting on it and it cost you $2,000 just to sit on it, or $2,700 at least. That's the way my mind works. I know guys don't maybe sometimes equate that into the bills, but you definitely part of the equation. If you want to see how we can help you out, again, we don't care. We're not an inventory management tool. We work with VAutoMax Digital, VinQs, Dealers Link, our Inventory Plus. We just want to help you look at your lot as a whole, find the holes that are causing your issues, and then dig into the cars that are causing those issues and use your inventory management tool. So we're just another layer to help you react quicker. We look at 2-week sales cycles to help you stay tuned. If you want a demo or inventory evaluation, lotpop.com. Check us out. We can be able to help you stay ahead of this curve. But either way, keep an eye out for yourself. See what happens. Hope this was helpful. Have a great weekend. Hopefully do one next week. Hold on. Joe just said, Jason, with stimulus money ready to go and tax refund checks, there's no way dealers don't roll big here in the next 120 days. If they do things right, people will have huge checks plus savings, if not spending 2020. If you're a dealer and you're not in the game big time, you'll lose out big. That's Joe's speculation. Again, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna roll the dice and see if you can catch a bubble, this would be the time to do it. But I would challenge you, Joe. IRS is going to be like no other. It's just like any other business right now. I think the IRS is going to run with COVID a shorter staff, right? Or a spread out staff, or maybe half of them's working at home and half of them working at the IRS office, or however they do it. I think still staff wise, the IRS is going to be stretched. So I don't think, even if you look at last year, if I'm correct, they didn't start pushing out checks till February 28th, which was late in the cycles, right? It was later than traditionally, and they kind of spread it out. It wasn't a big bulk. I think it's going to be worse this year. Because again, in February, we didn't have COVID really shutting us down. It was until April. So, and even the years prior to that, I think the tax season just kind of got trickled out and not a big bulk of, people get them automatically deposited in their checking account now. They didn't just send out a bunch of checks all of a sudden. A big bulk of people got money now and they come showing up at your lot. So I think this tax season is going to be, the returns are going to be drawn out further with the COVID and shutdowns and lack of support to get those things turned around quick enough. And the other equation, anybody getting stimulus money may or may not know, believe you're going to have to pay taxes on them. So now you got $2,000 check that you have to pay taxes on, that it might take some of that money away. So Joe, I agree with you on what you're saying there, but also I don't know if, they might not get a tax return to May or something if IRS is kind of shut down, working half staff or skeleton crew, or trying to work remotely and stuff is acting up on them, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens, man. But you definitely got to be on top this next 90 days to 6 months. And again, we'll be there to help you if you like. Thanks for your time. Have a great